When and where did you write this song?
Good morning. Good morning. I was in Austin, Texas. It was super late at night, per usual. That's usually when I'm writing. I really just wanted to write a piece that is very matter of fact, very simply, how would I know if you don't tell me? So if we don't talk about it, I won't know how to kind of move forward in this situation. People learn different behavior styles, different communication styles, and I used to shut down a lot. If something was bothering me, instead of communicating it. So I always use songwriting as my method of communication, understanding the frustration that comes with that and the clarity that comes with that.
Question number two be about the production choices.
I usually start off on just a stripped down version, and for this pack, I actually wanted to go that route. I didn't want to overproduce any of the songs. I wanted everybody to hear them just as they were written. I wanted to do a good job of blending that intimacy with something that people can move to. When I got stuck, I sent it to my homeboy Sage, he's a phenomenal producer. I've worked with him on a few different things, so I sent it over to him. And so the produced version ends up segueing into that voice memo, and it leads us into the next two songs on the project that are very much stripped down and acoustic.
How would I know? Question number three. What is your favorite line of the song?
My favorite line of this song is probably, how do you do what you do when you do and you do it to me? Normally I double back and I'm like, no, I could pick a stronger word, or I try to edit myself as I go. But for this, I just flowed. It could kind of make you think about word emphasis. I tend to use a lot of metaphors and symbolism, but this was just very conversational. The last line, it ties it all together, if you never tell me. It leaves me thinking and feeling, and that's usually, I think what great art does is it leaves people asking the questions and almost sometimes answering the questions for themselves too.
I feel like I should clap after that.
Hold.
Why did you choose to keep the release as the demo?
I chose to release it as the demo because I felt like trying to recreate the feeling just wouldn't have been possible. Because normally I'll create a scratch track or a demo, a rough draft. Then I'll be like, okay, cool, I know where I'm gonna build on it. Or I'll send it out to some of my closer collaborators and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And really kind of just start to build the song from there. But the more I listened to this one, the more I thought about this project, having Songpack 4 be what is kind of tying together everything, all the experiences, all the songs so far, all the messages, all the themes. It only felt right. I wanted people to hear exactly how I created it, and I was in such a vulnerable emotional space when I wrote this song. This one I can say is probably one of my top favorite songs I've ever written. I had a good friend of mine, he goes by Nightgown. He plays really beautiful guitar. He plays a lot of indie pop punk. The way that he hears certain voicings on the guitar and certain melodies on the guitar really opened my sonic palette up to different melodic ideas. I knew I wanted to write something. I felt it in my bones that night. He had this really cool idea and I asked him to just slow it down. We lowered the BPM and it felt right at that speed. So everything kind of just melded together really naturally. I was just in such a space where I don't think I had processed what I had been through. So I was able to, I think, just take all of those feelings that I hadn't yet spoken out loud or thought about, and they just poured out in that particular order. Even with the imperfections, I think you can even hear the click track bleeding through my headphones. But I wanted that there. I want the listener to feel like they're in the room with me when they listen to this one.
Do you have any particular themes going on, such as metaphors or any imagery?
I'm very big about being intentional with the lyrics matching not only what the melody is doing, but rhythmically too. The opening line being, I'm running with myself like I can. I want it to feel like I'm running, right? And so in this particular instance, as opposed to running away from something, it's more, I'm running with it, like I can keep up with it. It's that moment of realization where I'm like, oh man, now I gotta kind of catch up to it. And I sing about that in one of my other songs, Ahead of Myself, on Songpack 2, where it's literally talking about how I constantly feel like I have to catch up to myself. It's really representative of the fact that I am slowing down and I'm not trying to run away anymore, and I'm really sitting with my feelings, allowing them to process. The line that says, with everything I have to hold. I mean, that sounds like a wedding vow, right? A promise that you would make to someone. That is one meaning of that line, is with everything I have to hold. With everything that I have and I didn't even know that I had yet. And the other meaning of that line is everything that I've ever experienced, I have to hold it. Wherever I go, whoever I encounter, I hold those things with me. I carry those things with me. That was one of the most beautiful things that I think I didn't even realize it until after I wrote it. I was like, wow, there's kind of more than one meaning to this.
We're just gonna roll right into it.
Sure. You promised you'd jump if the tide was low. Conditions, ones that love never knows. Alluding to the fact that love is not supposed to feel conditional. I'm missing out on it, the ways that we've never been. Because you had me focusing on what's missing, it took me out of that present moment. You're still kind of feeling that same love. That same love is still there. It's just all the complexities that usually come with it and the desire to resolve those things. That's it.
First question of Grieving. Talk about the live performance of this one versus the recorded version.
Grieving is like my baby, one of my absolute favorite songs. I know I wrote part of it in Charlotte, North Carolina. A big part of the reason why I love traveling so much is because to realize the internal experience that you are having, basically wherever you go, you take yourself. In terms of the production, this one has actually been the hardest, mostly because I don't want to overproduce it. As we speak, like, I'm still finalizing the production on this one. It's been the hardest one for me to finish. And I think it says a lot because grieving itself, the topic of grieving and what it is and what it means and how it feels, it makes complete sense why this has been the hardest song for me to finish the actual recorded version. Because it's also the last song on the project and it's the last song of the series of all the song packs. It's a testament to what I've been experiencing. I think because I've gotten so comfortable and so used to performing this song, just in a really intimate space, trying to encapsulate that in a recording without it being an acoustic version or a stripped down version or a somewhere not sleeping version. It's been hard for me to not overproduce, but not make it lesser than what I think it can be.
Process of grieving, metaphor for the song.
I mean, I think everybody can relate to going through some type of grief. This past year specifically, and a reflection of the last 3 or 4 years, for me has been understanding grief, what it is, the stages of it, what it feels like, and the fact that too, like how it entwines with healing as a human being, and just understanding that, you know, sometimes we try to rush that process. So I didn't want to rush the process of writing the song. I spaced it out. I took my time. Normally I write a song and if I can't finish it, I'm like, okay, I'll move on to another song. But this one, I really had to come back to this one and I didn't want to let it go until I felt like the message was completely there from top to bottom. This song is really meant to touch people who have lost someone that is either no longer with us or is still with us, and we just have to grieve their loss in our life. This one really kind of touches all the different facets and what they all feel like. Not only the reminiscent pieces of it, the memories that you kind of comb through, but it's also very much an internal experience that you have to bring externally and make sure that, you know, you're kind of checking yourself here and there, like how much of this grief is in my day-to-day life and is in my current relationships with people, whether with family, lovers, friends. So I think this song really encapsulates so much of what living really feels like and how precious life truly is.
Third and final question of today. For grieving, do you have any particular themes going on?
When I wrote this song, I was also on a streak of writing a ton of poetry, and I started to become really fascinated and drawn to repetition. In acting in a script, when you see a word more than once, you kind of know that the next time you say it, you feel it a different way, you have a different intention behind it. In my conversations with God, sometimes God will show me things in different ways. I notice a lot of patterns. So just the concept of that has been really just mind-blowing to me. So in this song, I use it very intentionally in the verses. I get swept away from life, or I can see the face that melts away. Not only to kind of emphasize how impactful and hurtful this thing feels, right? This concept of grief and this thing that I'm carrying with me and I'm holding. And in a lot of my hooks, I've simplified them a lot to be kind of one line repeating. I want it to make people think, but also for my own self, it's kind of like a reminder. There's so many different perspectives you can have in a situation, and I think that also has a lot to do with repetition and lessons being learned and things being felt. Something that I felt to be really relatable, not just for myself, of course, but for people who hear this song. You know, sometimes we feel really isolated and alone in when we are grieving someone or something, whether that's past versions of ourselves or a loved one that we've lost or a breakup, you know, whatever that may look like. The line is, I can't be the only one who says what I need. It feels like a very isolating process where it's almost like, am I the only one who feels this way? Are the people around me even noticing? I think this song has helped me to heal, honestly, and I think that's probably why it took me the longest to finish. Grieving, songpack 4, I'm just really grateful. These song packs have been a really beautiful accomplishment. I'm really grateful for everybody who's been involved. I'm grateful to be able to have shown the full scope of what I believe I can do through my music, songwriting, genres, production. I mean, there's so much that goes into it, colors, feelings, and I think that releasing these song packs each quarter, ending, with song pack 4, it feels right.